Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is your sports report with the most boring captain on the face of the earth. It is I, Captain Boring. Thank you for being here, and happy Monday. It is the 13th of May in 2024. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I had a pretty good day, but do you know who had a great day? That would be Jared Goff. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions have agreed upon a 4-year, $212 million extension with $170 million guaranteed. This deal makes him the highest paid ever in the Detroit Lions franchise history. The $53 million per average yearly salary makes him the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, only behind Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, who is getting paid $2 million more at $55 million. Whatever will Jared Goff do? Jared Goff threw for 4,575 yards last season with 30 touchdowns and only 12 interceptions as he led the Lions to 2 playoff victories, had a 14-point lead twice in the NFC Championship game before his head coach messed it up by not kicking field goals. In 3 seasons in Detroit, Goff has passed for 12,258 yards, 78 touchdowns, and only 27 interception. Goff was preparing to enter the final year of his current contract, and he repeatedly expressed interest in playing in Detroit. He is 29 years old. Remember, he was given up for Matthew Stafford because he was considered washed, done, could not get the job done. Now, can he get the job done? That still remains to be seen, but Jared Goff is a good quarterback, if not great quarterback. Don't know if he's elite, but he is very, very good. Lions lock him up for another 4 years. Alrighty, let's go on over and let's check all these playoffs and see how the games went. It was game 3 on Friday night between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Jalen Brunson had been doing Jalen Brunson things, dropping 40 points in 4 straight games before game 2. Excuse me, when he only had 28. Well, he had 26 in game 3. However, his counterpart, Tyrese Halliburton, on the Indiana Pacers side, had 35, and that was enough to get it done. 4 of 5 starters for the Pacers scored in double figures. The 3 Villanova kids, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, were the only starters to score in double figures for the Knicks, as the Indiana Pacers hold serve by winning game 3 at home. In a series that looked to be all but down and out after 2 home losses for your defending world champions, Denver Nuggets, they responded in a huge way. They get 24 points apiece for both Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. They were plus 30 when Nikola Jokic were on the court, so that means they were 30 points better than the Minnesota Timberwolves when Jokic was on the court. They were plus 21 when Jamal Murray was on the court. All 5 starters scored in double figures as the Nuggets win game 3 on the road to cut the deficit to 2 games to 1. Speaking of cutting deficits 2 games to 1, the Dallas Mavericks did just that in game 3. They held serve on their home floor behind 27 points from PJ Washington and 22 points apiece from both Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They get the job done 105-101 to cut the lead, as I said, to 2 games to 1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, did have 31 points for the Thunder in a losing effort. It should be noted that the this series was 1-1. The Mavericks took a 2 games to 1 lead. This was not 2-0. This was 1-1. I do apologize. The Thunder have lost back-to-back playoff games. First time this postseason. They have allowed over 100 points in back-to-back games and just in general in games 2 and game 3. I do apologize. I forgot that the Mavericks stole one on the road. They now have home court advantage as they held serve on their home floor. Alrighty, let's go to Saturday night. It was game 3 between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers stole game 2 from the Celtics, meaning they technically, if they win game 3, have home court advantage. Well, they no longer have home court advantage. It was 33 points and 13 rebounds from Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown had 28 points and 9 rebounds, 33 points from Donovan Mitchell. However, it was him, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. Those were the only double-figure scores for the Cleveland Cavaliers as they fall in game 3 and give home court advantage right back to the Boston Celtics, 106-93. Celtics lead that series 2-1. Yesterday, Sunday, it was game 4 between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, and it was a rout from the beginning. 34 points for the Indiana Pacers in the first quarter. The New York Knicks only had 14, and it was downhill from there. Tyrese Halliburton had 20 points, but he really didn't have to do very much. The whole team was aggressive. The best player on the floor was actually TJ McConnell, who had 15 points in the first half, 121-89. These injuries that I mentioned on Friday's Sports Report for the Knicks are coming back and showing themselves a lot. Jalen Brunson, this actually might be a good thing because they were down by 30 points going into the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson rested a lot of the third and fourth, and so did all of the other starters. So this might get them some additional rest that they need. Not saying that any team wants to lose by 33 points, but if there's a silver lining, it was that. The defending champions just decided not to win at home because they went on the road and they took both games from the Minnesota Timberwolves. After stealing game 3, they went ahead and stole game 4 behind 35 points from Nikola Jokic and 27 points from Aaron Gordon. They won both games in Minnesota. This one 115-107. Anthony Edwards did his best. He went 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 5 of 8 from downtown. He played 45 minutes. He took 25 shots, made 16 of them, and scored 44 points. The Timberwolves, actually all 5 starters scored in double figures, but they got no help from their bench production. Meanwhile, neither did the Nuggets, but Jokic was not enough, and Gordon had the 27 points. Michael Porter Jr. actually only took 4 shots, made 2 of them, none from downtown, only had 4 points. Kadavius Caldwell-Pope, had 3 points, and those were your starters. So 2 out of the 5 starters only managed 7 points from the Nuggets. It didn't matter. The Nuggets have the best player in the world right now, and that's Nikola Jokic. However, Anthony Edwards is making a case for best American player right now in these postseason. This series is tied at 2. Game 5 is pivotal. It is back in Denver. Denver, though, has woken up. The referees from games 1 and game 2 woke up. Minnesota pissed off Denver too much. They poked the bear too many times, and now the drunk uncle decided to do one more shot of vodka and just to take this series over. Coming at you tonight is game number 4 between the Boston Celtics and Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland tries to even this series at 2 and avoid the 3-1 deficit. And meanwhile, in the West, the number 1 seed Thunder tried to avoid a 3-1 deficit and tie the series at 2 and get home court advantage back from the Mavericks by stealing one of the games that was stolen from them on the road. Game 4 tonight, two pairs of game 4. And then tomorrow, it's a pivotal game 5 in 2 of the series. This would be Tuesday night, the 14th. Indiana Pacers taking on the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden for a pivotal game 5. As shortly as of 5 years ago, the winner of game 5 in these NBA series went on to win 80+% of the time. I would assume that is still true because not much has changed. And then out west, the defending champion Nuggets are back on their home floor where they've lost two games. The first 2 games, that is, they try to win a pivotal game 5 and take a 3-2 series lead over the Timberwolves. Check back in Wednesday for all the updates from Monday and Tuesday's action in the NBA playoffs. But until then, we switch over to Friday night between the Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. This series was tied at 1. Boston won game 1 5-1. Panthers hammered Boston in game 2 6-1, and they hammered them again 6-2 in game 3 to take a 2-0 series lead. It was all Florida early and often. They get 1 goal in the first, 2 goals in the second, 3 goals in the third. It was never really that close. Florida takes a 2-1 series lead as this series is in Boston yet for another game. Going out west, it is game 2 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver won game 1. They were holding home court advantage. Well, Evan Bricard had different ideas. In overtime, he scores the game winner. Connor McDavid had the game-tying goal in the third period, as the Edmonton Oilers steal home court advantage from the Vancouver Canucks and even this series at 1 apiece. A team on the brink of elimination was the Carolina Hurricanes against the best team in hockey, the New York Rangers. They were down 3-0, fighting for their lives, and they fought valiantly, and they came out on top to be able to play or skate another day. Their game winner came from Brady Skjei, 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 maybe. I don't know. I don't really care, but that was the game winner. Therefore, the Hurricane, they still, though, trail 3-1. And in the first 2 most exciting games of the second round of these NHL playoffs between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars, Colorado has fallen behind by 3+ goals in the first 2 games. In game 1, they came all the way back and they won. In game 2, they got within a goal before Dallas pulled away again. Well, in game 3, they were down 2-1 entering the third period, and it just did not go their way. Logan Stankoven. No, see, that is Skankoven. I'm sure he's got to pronounce it differently. Logan Stankoven, Stank oven. I kid you not. Skankoven. And Tyler Seguin lengthened the lead in the third period. The Stars go on to win it with Skankoven. There's no way it's Skankoven. Goes on to win 4-1 to take a 2-1 lead in that series. Panthers Bruins again in game 4 last night. Florida is dominating this series. However, Boston jumped out to a 2-0 lead behind David Pastrnak and Brandon Carlo's goal in the first period. Then it was Anton Lundell in the second for Florida, Sam Bennett for Florida in the third, and Alexander Barkov in the third. Florida goes on to win it 3-2 and takes a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. It should be noted, Boston had a 3-1 series lead last year against the same Florida Panthers, gave it up, blew it. Florida went on to lose in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals to the Vegas Golden Knights. And then finally last night, it was game number 3, between the Vancouver Canucks and Edmonton Oilers. The Vancouver Canucks had home court advantage or home ice advantage stolen right out from under them in game 2. They got it back in game 3. Elias Lindholm got things started for the Canucks in the first period. Brock Boeser twice more in the first period after that. Elias Lindholm did it again in the second, and that was all that they needed. 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. However, Vancouver's star I just saw got suspended for a cross-check. Canucks. Here it is. NHL, this just came through. NHL suspends Canucks Carson Soucy for illegal cross-check on Connor McDavid in game 3. So that is a huge loss, I would assume, for the Canucks. I honestly have no idea. I just assume that when a player who plays at the same time of the great Connor McDavid for the Oilers and gets suspended, that's a big blow to your team. Tonight is game number 5 between the Carolina Hurricanes, still trying to fight off elimination, against the best team in hockey, the New York Rangers. And it is game number 4 between the Stars and Avalanche. Stars stole home court or home ice right back from the Avs, who took it in game 1. Avs have really never led or had control of this series. Can they get off to a quick start to keep their season alive? That will be seen later tonight. And then it is game 5. The Boston Bruins now on the brink of elimination to the Florida Panthers, down 3 games to 1. Panthers try to close it out on their home ice and try to avoid what Boston did last year against themselves. And then finally, it is game number 4. South Sea is out. Connor McDavid is playing for the Oilers. The Oilers try to draw even, down 2 games to 1. They are home there in Edmonton. I want to thank you, everyone, for being here. Know that God loves you. I pray everyone who listens to this, I truly do. May God bless you in your path. Don't forget to check back in here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Go follow us on Instagram at 4th and 1 Podcast. All the words spelled out, 4th and 1 Podcast. Drop a comment down below. Happy Monday, everybody. Until next time, wash your hands, you filthy animals. Peace out.